KB Tours welcomes you to Washington, D.C. We conduct daily African American heritage tours of the nation's capital. Upon request, we conduct African American heritage tours for family reunions. Washington, D.C. is deep in African American history. On your tour, you will hear interesting facts and stories. One of the greatest Washingtonians of all, Frederick Douglass, welcomes you to the nation's capital. Mr. Douglass was a citizen of Anacostia neighborhood. We start our daily tours at 9:30 a.m. from Judiciary Square Metro. If you take the Metro, please use the F Street exit. We use on our family reunion tours and our daily tours either a 54-passenger air-conditioned bus or a 34-passenger air-conditioned bus. You will be comfortable and be able to see out the big windows. On all of our tours, you will have your own tour guide. Most of our guides have 20 years of experience, and most are native Washingtonians. The guides will enhance your tour, and he or she will be with you every step of the way. On all of our African American history tours, we will stop at the Martin Luther King Memorial. You will be able to see and take pictures of the Mountain of Despair and the Stone of Hope. We will spend 20 minutes at the King Memorial. We'll point out the misquotes taken off the memorial. The Lincoln Memorial is a place where history was made on August 28th, 1963, at this very spot. Dr. King made a speech that changed America forever. You will have a chance to read the Gettysburg Address. President Lincoln spoke for less than 4 minutes. Edward Everett, who spoke before Abraham Lincoln, spoke for 2 hours. This is a speech that most middle school kids have to learn. Frederick Douglass bought his house in Anacostia for $6,700. Today, the house is worth $1.2 million. Mr. Douglass was called the Sage of Anacostia, one of the most important Washingtonians in D.C. Now, if you visit the house, you'll be able to take pictures. If we schedule a tour of the house, you'll see quite a lot of this 21-room house. Mr. Douglass died in the house in the 1890s. You'll be able to walk through his study, through the kitchen, through the bedrooms. Usually we take a tour of the house. It's going to take about 1 hour. As we drive around the city, we will see landmarks such as the 19-foot tall chair in Southeast, the Mary McLeod Bethune statue in Lincoln Park, and a very famous landmark in Northwest, Ben's Chili Bowl, which has been around since the 1950s. We will go past a statue called Encore, which is dedicated to Duke Ellington, a great native Washingtonian and a great jazz musician. We also will drive past the Howard Theater, which was built in 1910 specifically for African Americans. We will stop at the African American Civil War Memorial to pay tribute to the 209,000 African American colored troops and sailors. They were called the Buffalo Soldiers because Native Americans thought that their hair was like the texture of the hair of a buffalo. From the bus, you will be able to see a house that Mary McLeod Bethune bought for the Council of Negro Women. One of our major stops is the stop for the United States Capitol. There you will learn about how the statue on top of the Capitol was cast by an African American named Philip Reed. This is usually a 10-minute stop. Slavery was a big issue here in Washington, D.C. Abraham Lincoln was determined to end slavery in Washington. So Henry Wilson, who was a senator, came up with an idea called the Compensated Emancipation Act, where the federal government would pay slave owners up to $300 for each one of their slaves. And that's how slavery was ended here. One of the newest memorials in Washington, D.C. is dedicated to the father of Black history. The The White House was the largest house in America up until the Civil War. 8 out of the first 12 presidents owned slaves. This is one of our major stops in Washington. One of our favorite tours to do is the African American Heritage Tours for family reunions. Whether you have a group of 20 or 200, we can take care of you for your family reunion. While you are here in Washington, we strongly suggest you visit the African American Heritage Tour. Please take a day to do that.
You need our name to just talk.
You just talk.
Okay, all right. This was a wonderful experience, and I was really inspired and motivated, learning some extra details about my own African American history, and then also coupled with the city itself of D.C. and seeing some of the historical sites. I was really impressed by seeing the Cedar Hill, is that it? Cedar Hill, right, where Frederick Douglass lived, because he's always been one of my heroes, as I think in terms of where we've come as African American person. I also want to commend Mr. Kenny for such a wonderful experience. His knowledge base is phenomenal, knowledgeable about African American history, but this man has certainly opened my eyes and my ears and my desire to learn more about our own culture. So I would say with all the adventures today and having young people there, and although some of them were a little lethargic, by the time you finished they were to the edge of their seats, really want to know more information. So very engaging. I think the interactive approach is commendable. So I just had a wonderful time on today.
Okay. I want to first commend Mr. Kenny, because when I first contacted him, he was booked. But he went out of his way and did that extra effort, that extra thing to make it possible for us to come and do this tour. Not only that, he was willing to pick us up here at Union Station. And he was patient, because we really did test his patience. He was very patient. He engaged the students. And one thing that impressed me about him was one thing that he said. He says, we're going to make this happen. I'll call you back. We're going to make this happen because it's important for the students to learn about their history, their African American history. And then, not only that, he told me that he was going to contact me later because we were coming in from Philly, and he did. He's a man of his word. One other thing that impressed me about the tour was that he took it upon himself to take our students and connect with them. One-on-one, he'd show one of our students his favorite passage when we went to the MLK Memorial. We learned about the prison system, the Treasury, how it was built on the backbones of Africa, the Black Bank. That was really interesting, how it used to be a Black Bank. And Marilyn McCall Bethune's house. We learned the history about that neighborhood. And Frederick Douglass and the history and his relationship with the president. So all in all, I would give it an A+ on a scale of 10, A+. Thank God for Mr. Kenny. Exceptional job.
Exactly.
I would recommend it.
And I think if our young people had something to say, I think that they also had an enjoyable time and their knowledge base was broad. And I like the fact that Mr. Kenny challenged them. He gave them a challenge. After they got off the bus, there was something particular that they had to do and come back with. And I think as we challenge young people, the more they are engaged and they have something to take back with them that they can refer to. Quotes are always powerful. They are a short way of saying some things that really impact lives. And I think by challenging them to learn some things today was very motivating and inspiring. So again, thank you, Mr. Kenny.
All right.
And